Brown University is waging war on, wait for it, masculinity. The Ivy League university is offering new classes for men to, quote, unlearn toxic masculinity. The university's website explains men are bad, evil, and somehow prone to violence. To make that kind of blanket statement about half the population, I don't know, I would just say it's a little extreme, wouldn't you? Joining me right now, media director at campusreform.org, Cabot Phillips. He's seen a lot of this crazy stuff on campuses all over this country. Cabot, it's kind of tough to be a guy these days, huh?
It is, and I like, my favorite word there is unlearn, with the implication being that all men must have learned this toxic masculinity at some point. The course goes on to blame men for issues like sexual assault, over drinking, the hookup culture on campus, violence, all things that, yes, there are men that commit these horrible things, but to place that blame at the foot of men or masculinity is, I think, the wrong approach. I think what the university should be doing and what society should be doing is encouraging men to realize, hey, masculinity is not a bad thing, and encouraging, empowering them with the positive aspects of masculinity, encouraging them to be strong, protective, and have integrity and respect. Those are all good qualities.
And that's how I see masculinity. A strong man, someone who stands up for his ideals, who protects his family, who loves his family, is kind. This, to me, is what is masculine. And the idea that somehow, because you're a man, you're starting, negative 30 or something. I mean, they just want to penalize you just for being a guy.
And I wish I could say this was just the Ivy League schools or it's just relegated to the craziness of Brown. This is something we've covered just at Leadership Institute's Campus Forum this year alone. 12 plus stories this year of universities pushing this kind of thing in class. My favorite one.
I don't want kids, young men, to feel bad about themselves. I mean, what are you paying as a parent? $50K, not including room and board for Brown? You send your young son there and he signs up for some class where he's told that somehow he's just, as bad as it gets because he's a guy?
My two favorite instances of this, there was a professor that said that we should start teaching about toxic masculinity as early as kindergarten so that men realize how dangerous it is. And the all-time favorite, this year at UCLA, students are paying an extra fee to help fund a toxic masculinity committee.
Okay, so wait a second. This is a popular term now in academic circles?
Yes.
Toxic masculinity.
Yeah. and also, I think it's important to know where this stems from. This is all coming full circle. I think it starts with the left's push towards identity politics, where everything is about things beyond your control. If it puts people in these boxes of your race, your religion, in this case, your gender, and it robs people of their individuality. It robs people of their ability to make their own decisions, to be their own person. And it says, hey, because a few people in a group of, your gender or race or whatever did these things, we're going to place all the blame on you. And I think it robs people of their choice to make their own decisions, and it doesn't empower them in any way.
No.
I also wonder what the dating scene is like.
I sometimes look at, what's that?
I also wonder what the dating scene is like at these universities where all the men are told not to be masculine.
Yeah, I guess you're not supposed to open the door for a girl because that scene is somehow sexist. Listen, look, and I've said I'm a big champion of Me Too, and no woman should have to go through any of the things that we've heard from these women. And in many ways, it's so good and it's so healthy that this is all out there front and center. But, you wonder if it's going a little too crazy when now there's a war on men to the point where we no longer trust or like them as a society, and that's the direction Brown University and others are taking us in. Yeah,
and it's not just based on gender. We've seen other universities teach things. There is a course similar to this called The Problem of Whiteness, Unpacking Whiteness. Other universities saying, unlearning the white racism. Entire courses based on this kind of thing. And I think it's wrong to place the blame of a minority of a certain group at the feet of all people.
Well,
I think,
as you said, it's dangerous. Robbing people of their self, of their own responsibility and all this, and it's this victim mentality and grouping people by identity politics, and the truth is no one needs to be grouped like that. And by the way, I still like masculine men. Cabot, thank you so much. All right, President Trump holding a rally in Wisconsin and addressing the package. All of those bombs today, terrible, terrible things, saying that any acts or threats of political violence are an attack on our democracy itself.